Today, the president's defense team taking center stage again as the Senate impeachment trial continues on Capitol Hill.
So what can we expect? Congressman Jim Jordan is a member of the president's defense team. He joins us right now from Statuary Hall in the heart of the Capitol. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Okay, the big story out of the New York Times is that, somehow they got a hold of John Bolton's new book, today available for pre-sale on Amazon, that Bolton was told Trump wanted to continue freezing money to Ukraine until they helped with probes of the Bidens, which is something we have heard before, but now because it's John Bolton and he was in the room, what does this change?
Well, first of all, you got someone telling the New York Times what supposedly John Bolton's manuscript says. So, and that's going to change everything. I mean, I just don't buy that because it doesn't alter in any way the fundamental facts. The facts that have been clear from the get-go, the idea that we have the transcript, there was no quid pro quo in the transcript, the idea that both individuals on the call, President Trump, President Zelensky, have repeatedly said there was no linkage, there was no pressure, no linkage between security assistance dollars and any type of investigation. You have the fundamental fact that the Ukrainians didn't know aid was held at the time of the call. They didn't learn until a month later. And most importantly, they took no action. They didn't start an investigation, promise to start an investigation, or make any announcement that they were going to do an investigation, and they got the security assistance money. So no amount of New York Times reporting on some speculation from some unnamed source is going to change the fundamental facts.
What is going on with John Bolton? What is their relationship like? Why would he do this? He worked for the president. Is he telling the truth, or do you think he's doing this like the president said, that he's doing this just to sell books?
Well, what we do know is when John Bolton, met with President Zelensky on August 27th, linking of dollars, security assistance dollars in any type of investigation never came up. We had all kinds of witnesses testify to that meeting that took place. So we do know that fact. So this coming out at this late hour is kind of typical move from the Democrats.
Right.
Remember, during the House investigation, we had this Mr. Holmes all of a sudden remember some conversation that he overheard at a restaurant where Ambassador Sondland was talking to the president. Even though his boss, Ambassador Taylor, Mr. Holmes had told Mr. Taylor about this conversation, Mr. Taylor never testified to it. But suddenly the last week, right before we get done with hearings in the House, Mr. Holmes remembers this and the Democrats bring him in to testify. And it changed nothing because it didn't alter those four fundamental facts.
Well, at 1 o'clock this afternoon, the president's legal defense team is going to go to the well of the Senate and start in earnest the big part of the president's defense. Of course, last week, Congressman, we heard from a number of Democrat House managers that they've got to remove this president immediately so that he doesn't rig the next election, essentially the election interference. And yet, on Saturday, during their abbreviated presentation, Pat Cipollone, the president's attorney, said that the Democrats are trying to perpetrate the most massive interference on an election in American history. So he took their argument and he turned it completely around. What are you talking about? You're doing it to this guy.
Yeah, I thought Pat was very effective in saying you're doing the very thing you're accusing the president of doing. You're trying to remove a president from the ballot, from office, less than 10 months before the next election. Let the American people decide. I think what we really saw Saturday is we saw 2 hours of the truth, and 2 hours of the truth beats the 20 hours of presumptions, assumptions, and hearsay that the Democrats brought to the country all last week. So you're going to hear more of the truth from the president's legal team today and tomorrow, and then we'll get to the questions. Then I think we have a vote and the president is acquitted and we can get on with doing the business of the American people.
So you don't think witnesses?
I do not. Not based on something, not based on all the assumptions, presumptions, and hearsay and some anonymous source telling the New York Times about some draft manuscript when the facts have never changed.
That means the State of the Union will probably be next Tuesday.
Definitely will be next Tuesday, and the president will do another great job as he's done in the previous State of the Union.
All right, Jim Jordan. Thanks, you, sir.
Congressman.